All right, Grand Rise, Grand Rise. Testing, testing. Good morning. All right, so if you can hear me okay, let me know in the chat box. Again, let me know if you can also see the screen, if I'm coming through loud and clear. Again, testing, testing. Again, guys, if you have just joined, please let me know if you're able to hear me okay in the chat. All right, guys, we'll get started. Again, oh, you beat me to it, bro. I was just about to get on EU because the dollar's rising, and EU and GU were setting up for those sells just like that, right from the supply, got into the drop. So right on time, bro. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So the thing about the dollar that I like for it to potentially rise now is that we got this change of character coming from this demand area after we swept this liquidity sitting here, and then we fill this imbalance by getting all the way down to the demand. So all this was taken care of, and now the bulls showed up, right? And everything in this break is efficient, right? So there's no real major fair value gaps for price to pull back to then take off and take out this liquidity. So for the most part, we should just start seeing a swift push up on the dollar. So it's good that you got in the EU. Let's take a look at AU. All right, right at resistance as well. I'm gonna close out that buy trade from I believe Monday. All right, and again we're just gonna get this going again. All right. Yeah, so we got a nice opportunity here on AU. Just trying to line it up a little better. All right, so out the Asian session, We got in London and we did not quite sweep the high, but we did have a nice little break of a trend line and break of a low. All right, so whoop, there it is. All right, on the trend line. All right, Sindid was good. Okay, and we broke this low right here. All right, now actually it's this one, tripping. All right, that one. Again, this pushed up to make a new high, breaking this structure to the left. Right, so strong low, consolidated, made some equal highs, right, triple top, right, which is a bearish reversal pattern. All right, but again, liquidity sits behind there. So in the event that we push up, we might swipe that liquidity before we actually get a push down. All right, so even as it stands right now, you know, odd dollar is near this support level, all right, that is currently rejecting. So don't necessarily want to sell it right here, even though I could, and just have, you know, a pretty decent stop above this triple top. All right, so that'll look like this. All right, and that's just about 20 pip stop loss, right? And you know, I'm used to 50 pips on my stop loss, so I can even do something like this, right? 30 pip stop loss, right? Just to give it real good space from, you know, price trying to wick me out, all right, with these equal highs. All right, so again, form of liquidity sitting there, and yeah, that could happen. So basically, instead of me trying to sell it low here, guys, I'll put a sell position right where I expect it to go. All right, it's just that simple. Okay, there it is, swinging it up to the top and coming back out to the 1 hour time frame. See where we can get to. Okay, and I do like it getting to this demand level, right? Again, previous swing that shows us in the past that price can start to rise, all right, when it gets here. So aiming for that low, and that's going to give us about 77 pips, all right. Um, you say you still in longs on AU? I just closed AU long. All right, so you may still get a little bit out of that, right? There's, you know, we still got imbalance, you know, we still haven't tapped into this supply. And, you know, from where price is sitting right now on the 15-minute time frame at the support level, I do believe that it will shoot up, right, to fill, right, this imbalance that it has here and here, right, and possibly sweep this liquidity. So you may be able to, you know, still kind of get about another 12 to 15 pips out of AU pushing up. So yeah, it's good that, you know, you're still in for the long, right? You can, if your stop is below here, right, you can probably catch whatever it's going to do coming up here before it potentially falls. All right, so I'm not mad at that whatsoever, but I did close out probably right before you came in. All right, the thing is, because the dollar, right, is looking bullish, all right. Now again, we may just get some sort of retracement, right, back to the area that we broke. But again, like I said, there's no real imbalance. Okay, there's a little imbalance. I take it back. It's right here. Okay, but it's very tiny. And regardless of how tiny the FEG is, it typically is going to get mitigated at some point in time. All right, so we're just taking it into consideration, and the demand level is right below that. But when I see this, when I see prices very tight like this, right, there's not a whole lot of gaps and what have you, you know, typically um, it just, you know, shoots off without really giving too much of a retracement, right? If anything, it'll probably just come back to the area that it broke, right? Because there's a little imbalance right here, right? So that'll be another demand. But what I do see now, looking at it a little bit more in detail, is that we got this liquidity sitting right here, these equal lows. Okay, so now again, in terms of your dollar play, right, the dollar will most likely drop a little bit, right, to fill these areas before it rises. So again, you'll get a little bit more out of AU before, it potentially falls, right? So, get what you can, but get ready to kind of, take your money. Nate, was good, bro? Um, did you close yesterday's pending orders? So give me 1 second. Let me get out of here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Um, I actually don't remember right now. Which pending order? Which one are you talking about? Um, Squad. We are in profit from that EA trade last night. All right, we're up about 10 pips. It's floating, but again, probably by tomorrow or Friday, which is just crazy. Like I mentioned, it's when when I'm noticing things are, moving and taking off. It's probably when we'll finish out this move, but so far so good. All right. Yeah, Cindy, do you remember those pending orders? I want to say they were probably on the majors. I mean, the indices is probably what you're talking about. I think they got hit and I lost those. Um, so let me see. Okay, SPY didn't get, and wait, let me get back higher. No. I don't know why I don't see them, but I know what happened. Um, Man, I can't remember right now. Yeah, yeah, I just can't remember right now. So if you remember, just let me know and we'll go over them. But um, yeah, US 30 looking like a potential drop right now. All right, and that's looking really nice actually. Okay, coming off that trend line. So we might need to go ahead and hop into US 30. Nas still looks like it's going to push higher. All right. SPY just broke this high. And that looks like it's going to rise. But again, we do have this area where it broke right here, which is kind of currently where price is. All right, so we might respect that and push down, but maybe it'll get to here. Well, that's where it is right now. All right, so again, just a lot of, trying to take into consideration, right, that this is a key area. Okay, looking left, we've been playing around, and now we're kind of right back in that same area. So we may very well get the drop. So we need to start looking at these indices for that drop. All right, SPY looks good, and US 30 looks good. See, gold. All right, so that bearish divergence we lost, and we were knowing that again we weren't really gonna have too much fun selling gold, but it is what it is. All right, we had pretty tight stops, so we didn't blow the bank, but definitely didn't take the W that we wanted. Let's see, is that divergence still on? Technically, it is. Okay, so as the dollar is getting ready to go up, all right, gold has the potential of falling, right? I know somebody's like, man, forget that. I'm buying gold, right? And I understand, right? But I'm just talking correlation, right? And then for the fact that we do have bearish divergence, And we have these tweezer tops here. So I don't know if you guys know about that, right? But if you check out tweezer tops, right, you'll see an image of these two candlesticks that you see here at the top of the swing. All right, and that is a bearish reversal pattern. All right. Um, so when I'm looking at this, right, from this 30-minute time frame, that looks picture perfect, right? And it gets followed by a massive bearish body candle that takes out uh this, this candle, this candle, this candle, and this candle, right? Which is what, 2 hours worth of price action. It takes it out in one 30-minute candle. So bears are definitely here, right? So it's worth, again, another look at a potential sell, right? Even though we know, right, gold just doesn't want to fold, all right, in a sense, okay? But at some point when it does, you may be the one, or we may be the ones to take advantage of it, all right? So I'll get a position like this, maybe get a little deeper, all right? So it's a $10 move on gold on the stop loss. If we get lower, we might be able to, make that somewhat tighter, but you know, you can't really get away with too much, right? When you're trading these commodities and these indices, right? You gotta give to get, all right? So uh, in that regard, you know, 10 pips or a $10 move on gold is pretty decent, all right? And if we just get to this low, right, that's a 35-point move. So we already got a 1 to 3 on a potential selling opportunity on gold from this supply area. All right, guys. So I'm going to go halfway in the supply because, again, gold has been so bullish. So, why not? All right. So hitting it there with the sell limit and coming down to TP here. But, this is nice, right? 37 points. You don't really need a whole lot, right, to get jiggy with gold. But looking at it from a higher time frame and seeing that trend line where liquidity is sitting, and also seeing the liquidity sitting at all of these equal lows here, I would definitely want to aim for this demand level. All right. And that's going to probably get us well over 100 or so points on gold, right? Getting from the top to the drop. There you go, 113 points. That's over 1,000 pips on gold. So it's worth just pushing it, all right, to that level. All right. Bring that long position down. All right. And we'll stretch this out for the rest of the week. Okay. And there we have it. All right. So give me a moment and I will get you guys the play for this and for odd dollar. And we'll go take a look at our euro, the rest of the majors. All right. So far, this is one of those days where the dollar is clean in its structure, right? With giving us the change of character to go up. We may get a retracement to, again, just kind of collect some money before we get that major push up to these areas, right? So knowing that, right, we're looking for sells on odd dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, New Zealand dollar, and we're looking for potential buys on dollar CAD, dollar CHF, dollar JPY, right? Again, I said potential, right? Even though this is all correlated, right, it doesn't correlate 100% of the time. Okay, so just got to remember that. Remember, US and Japan, right? They're in the same bed, and they acting like they not, right? You get what I'm saying? They stirring up all of this nonsense to make you believe they beefing and all of this other good stuff. But once the cameras turn off, they getting jiggy with each other. All right, so this won't always follow, right, whatever the dollar may show you or whatever the yen may show you. Okay, so again, I told my team last night about the yen that I was afraid to sell GJ, right? Because even though this looked like it was going to rise, right, I knew that it didn't really mitigate everything that I see here. And look what's happening, right? We got rejection and now we're starting to fall. So if I would have sold GJs at last night thinking that the JPY was going to rise, it would the GJ would have rose on me, right? And looking at it, look, I can already see it's green. It's up pretty much 9 points, 9 pips from yesterday. So just taking a quick look, and boom, right? So this was an area that we were uh, thinking about selling it from. As it made this lower high, we were going to sell it, but look, tapped into demand, started to rise, and our real play is here where you see the short position with the sell limit. And I guess TradingView's tripping because it erased my order. All right, but there it is. Okay, I think they got something going on. I've been noticing that, like, a lot of. That's why I didn't really remember send it, because I didn't see my pendings. But I think it was possibly the indices. Either way, right? GJ setting up, right? So as the JPY, gets down to this demand area, fills this gap a little bit more, gives us some bulls, then it'll be time to sell GJ from this area, right? Looking to make about 400 pips to the downside. So that's going to be beautiful. Okay, but again, back to the dollar. Um, Seeing that push down, we'll get something where the odd dollar pushes up, does the sweep, activates us, and then takes, comes on down. Right. So those are the things that, I'm kind of looking for, on the dollar this morning. They really don't, bro. They do not want you to win. Okay. It's over time, I've learned that there's a lot of trickiness to this, right? There's a lot of, hey, wait a minute, what if these guys can read market structure and they can understand the cycle? That's going to make us broke. So what can we do to kind of throw them off, right? That's where they consolidate it. That's where they give you, they engineer liquidity at certain areas and they don't go get it right away. They pull away from it for a little bit to entice you, make you think it's going that way. And then they come and get the liquidity, and then they do everything that you expected them to do. But, they just hit you with a little whoop-de-doop first, right? So, you know, to me, that's why a lot of traders fell, right? Not knowing that. And to your point, it made me realize, damn, you gotta really be on the lookout. Like, you gotta have your head on the swivel with reading this price action to really understand where they're setting you up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they getting ready to play you, right? And make it to where you can't win because they don't want you to, right? It's very, very difficult. I'm not gonna lie, right? To know that or spot that in the beginning, but you put some time into this, and it becomes looking at the 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 binary code in the matrix, right? You seeing all the zeros and ones, and you like, oh, I see what's going on, right? But it's just it's crazy, all right? But we gonna do what we can, all right? So euro dollar, all right? See how that's looking like it's going to potentially rise as it just filled this imbalance and tapped into this demand area right here. All right. So again, give me vibes that the dollar may push down for its retracement, okay? And cause these non-dollar based pairs to rise a bit, right? So now, just got to be very mindful of like how far down, the dollar may push, right? You can see the plenty rejection at this area, so I don't expect it to push past that, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we swept all the liquidity, we balanced out the fair value gaps, and we've even mitigated the demand area like really to the T. So the demand really came from here, and we tapped right into it. So coming higher, we gotten all the structure that we need, right? Where you guys can see, right? This was all, highs, then lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then all of a sudden we started doing higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So guess what? Here for a potential sweep to make that next higher low, and then we're off to the races, guys. That's how I see that playing out. All right. So again, just got to line ourselves up and let's see what we can do. All right. So we got our sell limit. Let me give you guys that on our dollar. All right, if you can see the screen, go ahead and punch in the numbers. And if you like the setup, all right, sell limit. Okay, that again is a pending order. All right, this is your entry. Okay, stop loss is only going to be 15 pips. Okay, so remember, guys, even when you have good setups and everything, right? The key is just not to do too much on your position size, right? Your lot size, right? If you can, that's another psychological, mental situation that is something people don't give too much focus to, right? Is okay, you've been able to not have FOMO, right? You've been patient, you waited, but now you know that you do have that perfect setup and you're ready to take the trade. Now all of a sudden you go crazy, right? You're like, damn, I gotta put, you know, a standard lot on here, right? But you're not doing the math, right? On a 15 pip stop loss, a standard lot is $150, right? And you only got $200 in your account. That's a no-no, right? You know what I mean? You don't want to have one trade, you know, pretty much take your account away, right? To the point where you can never take that standard lot out again if you happen to lose that trade, right? You want to be able to consistently take out the same lot size over and over and over, right? But you won't be able to do that if you don't have that, uh, you know, discipline, that psychological discipline, right? To keep your lot size small and not over leverage. Trust me, if you, especially the newbies, the rookies, they know that a micro lot can still make or break you, right? You understand what I'm saying? When you start losing on the micro, you're like, damn, I lost 20 bucks. That means you caught 200 pips. Okay, you see what I'm saying? But you know, it's not, and that's the other, you know, thing, guys. And I'm not gonna preach all morning, but if you understand that the only thing that really changes, right, once you learn what you need to learn, the only thing that changes is your lot size. Okay, me, Nick, Nate, right? We can all take a sell, put a sell limit on our dollar, but I got a standard lot. Nate has a mini lot and Nick has a micro lot, right? We all catch 76 pips, right? But clearly I'm going to make, you know, $700, right? $800, whatever, right? Nate is going to make $70, $80, right? And Nick is going to make $7 or $8. You understand what I'm saying? But it's all the same concept on how we took the trade. The only thing that was the difference between the three of us is our lot size. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you know how to trade, or you know how, if you get into a good trade on a micro, it's still a good trade on a mini, and it's still a good trade on a standard. But make sure you understand your account size and what you're actually able to do. That way you can survive the trade without blowing your account and sweating bullets and having your anxiety go through the roof, right? And being impatient on top of that, because again, when people put the hot sauce on the trade and they start to see it go against them, that number is huge, right? That number starts looking big and they like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, you were. You know what I mean? You ain't really put it into consideration that you could possibly, you know, it could possibly go against you, right? And get really close to your stop, right? And it's the most craziest psychological game ever, right? It says, okay, we about to take you out, Bain. We about to take you out. No, y'all ain't about to take me out. I'm gonna take myself out. I'm gonna close the trade myself, right? I ain't gonna give y'all the pleasure of pulling the trigger on me, right? I got this. And then they laugh. Ha ha ha, he took himself out. We were finna give him the money. We was just bluffing. We was just seeing if, you know, how committed was he to the trade. But see, he wasn't really that committed, so he ain't gonna never win. All right. That's that, guys. Let's get to it. All right. Boom. So you guys got the AU, and I think I called what was the other GJ, but that was from last night. But again, you guys can get this morning. I feel like there was another one that we started. EU. It was EU. So we'll go to EU in a second. But here is the sell limit on GJ. Message. And all the gems in those movies, bro. No matter how funny or serious, there was messages in there. And to be quite honest, bro, all the messages, I don't care how you slice and dice it, is for everybody to get your money, right? You know, have a purpose, get something going for yourself, do something that makes sense. You know, the street shit and all that, woo woo, right? It took over, and it got a lot of us, you know, doing crazy stuff to get the bread, right? And we don't even live to get to see it, right? Because it's everybody knows it's only two ways out, right? You know what I mean? But you know, most of those messages were just trying to get y'all, you know, to get away from that nonsense and, you know, get into the legal aspects of, you know, doing it the right way, right? The easy way, right? Just take a little legwork. And I promise y'all, man, like y'all do hard as shit. Y'all think trading is hard. You know, try that 9 to 5, right? That shit is hard, right? Try to raising them kids and, you know, trying to be, a good mom and a good dad and, you know, all these other things. Like that shit is hard. Good friends. You know what I mean? Y'all know what time it is, right? So again, just don't don't sell yourself short on this, right? You're already doing more difficult things. You see what I'm saying? Like this is cake, right? This is really super easy. It's just you gotta learn a few things, a little terminology, a little psychology, a little concept, right? After that, it's a wrap, all right? But there's GJ, so here's EU, all right? And we're gonna wait. So this is the buy limit for when we get down to here, all right? But us getting down there from where we are now is gonna net us about 60 to 70 pips, all right? And we're just waiting for the dollar to kind of, you know, it's already beginning this retracement right now, all right, so we're just kind of waiting for it to get to this area. But once it gets here, guys, you're gonna see me all excited, ready to rock and roll, and I'll be pulling triggers everywhere on, you know, whichever looks the best on these opportunities on the majors, as well as uh the indices. As a matter of fact, yeah, let's get the US 30 right now. All right. Again, it's for the big dogs. All right. The little dogs, if y'all in here, you know, if y'all might be able to take out that micro on your broker, right? If you got leverage of 1 to 500, um, you might be able to take it out depending on your account balance. I want to say if you got maybe like, yeah, $400, $500 maybe, right? You can take out a mini um, with your broker if they give you leverage of 1 to 500. But if you don't have, you know, 4 or 500 and you only got 40, 50, you know, maybe 100, 200, somewhere around there, then if your broker allows you to trade the minis, right, then you'll definitely be able to take out a micro on US 30 or NAS, right, and be able to take advantage of this. So just letting you guys know that right now. So go ahead and check it out in your broker, see if they got it for you and try to be a part of this. But I like the way that we pushed up here with conviction, right? And this is a very bullish move, right? But it was really to sweep this liquidity and then tap into this supply, right? So we have imbalance again, once again, that has not been filled. Okay, so at some point it will, right? Never know when exactly, but we do know that some point they coming to get it. All right. Uh, it's the same like it was down here. See this fair value you got right here? They when the market opened, they pushed up, right? And then what happened? They came down to fill that imbalance. What's happening right here? They pushed up, and at some point they're gonna come down to fill that imbalance, guys. Taking candy from a baby. I swear I get you right. You gotta rock with me. All right, hit that like and subscribe button for me, guys. Almost at 800 followers, I believe, right on the road to 1K and beyond. So again, if you guys can hit that subscribe, I would really appreciate that love. All right. But selling opportunity here as we, tapped into supply, and then the way that we're coming up like this, you guys will learn about, the way price look. I'm trying to, man, it's so nice how this is sometimes, right? To be able to illustrate it to you guys. All right. But what you see right here with this move up, you also saw it right here. Okay. And look at the canning resemblance. You your daddy's son. You right? This is what this is, guys. Right? So, oh, that ain't my daddy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Look at the nose. Look at the nose. Right? This is what this is resembling. Right? So from that push up with the diagonal way that it did it, right, coming into the supply area, giving you the wicks, it tanked. Right? With the way that it's pushing up, that diagonal push up into the supply area, hitting off this potential trend line, guys, we may get that another major drop to go fill that imbalance. So we're looking at potential of 500 points, right? Possibly 700 points on a sell on US 30. So I like that it's pushing up right now because I actually do want it to kind of get above the trend line, right? So I can feel like it swept liquidity, all right? And then I would sell it. It's that simple. I mean, thanks for simplifying entries. Just curious though, is your voice or computer enhanced? I don't know. The computer's not enhanced, so it got to be me, man. That's all me. That's my Barry White. That's that's my Luther Vandross. So whomever, you know what I mean. But I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's just my normal voice, man. Uh, nothing turned on to make it better or worse, but you know, it's for the ladies though. It's just FYI. Nah, but yeah, man, it's just me. But I appreciate it, man. More than anything, I like that this is being simplified for you, right? So, I could have had any kind of accent, right? And I could have been very soft spoken or whatever else. You know what I mean? We're all different, right? And I've learned from some really good people that were from different countries and had different dialogues and accents and things like that. Sometimes it's hard, to understand them, but they still drop in gems, right? You know what I mean? So it's just like, man, you kind of get past, the way they sound or things of that nature, right? For me, I obviously speak pretty good English, but I don't know, if the way I say things, sometimes, people may or may not get it, you know what I mean? And that's just the way of life. But uh, I do just, be myself. You feel me? So that's all you can ever really do. And to be honest, guys, that's how they know you different. All right, when you are you yourself. All right. So here, I like how we did kind of break the trend line on this, and we got that nice what you call it, bearish candle right here. But then, as we get a little bit more into it, all right, and the market just opened, so this is our 9:30 candle right here, all right. So look, we're gonna wait for this to be over, right? It's 5 minutes left, right, for this candle to close. We're on the 15-minute time frame, so it's a 15-minute candle. So really, if we go to the 30-minute time frame, all right, then yep, this will be our 9:30. So already I know this is the low of 9:30. All right, I'm gonna put you guys on game. Here's an indicator that I use. It is called the daily range and the intermediary, or however you pronounce that word, intermediary or whatever, right? Daily range. Basically, when I pop that indicator on, you'll see it throws some lines on here. Now, all of this is confusing right now because I need to dress it up, right? So give me a second. Dun, 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 dun. Man, I wish it would have kept my. All right, I'm not gonna go through this right now because it's a lot. I didn't realize how much I got to configure it. All right, but just know if you go get that daily range and that IDR range indicator, all right, so you go to indicators, right, and you simply type in, or you go to technicals, right, and then you type in DR, right, and boom, you'll see it right here under community by the mas or the master. You know, you put it the T for the number 7 for T, right? The master with the number 7 for the letter T, right? Get that, and you know, get with me, and then I'll tell you guys more about it. But really, all it really is about is marking the high and the low from 9:30 to 10:30 on the indices, right? And really, it does it on, you know, other pairs, but we primarily use it on the indices to just know what the high and the low of uh, the opening of, you know, the stock market for these indices, what it was, right? What was the high, what was the low? And then pretty much it gets really simple, right? If the high or the low is broken, then we kind of know which way the market's going to go for the rest of the day. That's it in a nutshell, right? I'm really trying to not overcomplicate that. So it'll be a situation like this. We see the high, I'm sorry, we see the low, we see the high, and if price happens to wiggle its way down and break the low, where we're like, okay, then that means we're going to continue falling, right? And price won't get above this high. So when it does this, you're simply waiting for price to kind of pull back again because you're wanting to sell. So you don't sell low, you wait for it to pull back so you can sell high, and you just place your stop above the high, right? Because it's, you know, a certain percentage or guarantee that it won't get above this, right? And this strategy really, really works. Some people are making a killing off of this strategy alone, right? But you know, without going into extreme details about it, this is kind of just basically what that's all about. So you got it in reverse, right, as well. So that was an example of breaking the low. Here, what if it wiggles up and then it breaks the high? Well, what that's telling us is the low is going to be, you know, price won't get past that low. So it'll be the low of the day, right? It'll be the official low that price won't get past. So basically, you're wanting to look for your buying opportunities, but price went high. You don't want to buy high. You want to wait for it to pull back, right? And then you want to buy it low, stops below this low point because we know it's not going to get below that. So you can make it tight if you want to, right? But typically give it a little space because sometimes, you know, they hit us with what my boy calls the gotcha bitch, right? And then it goes in your direction. So those are, you know, some things that you can put in your arsenal, right? Specifically for these indices, a strategy that is, you know, static, if you will, doesn't change, right? Just marks the high or the low and you wait for it to break and then you wait for your opportunity. Notice how many times I'm saying wait. Okay, there's a lot of waiting in all of this, guys. And if you know, you subject yourself or, you know, surrender yourself to that, you know, things will turn out pretty good. All right. So as of right now, looks like this is the highest that is pushed to. But again, you know, this goes all the way to 10:30, right? So we're just getting around that 10 o'clock mark in about 15 minutes. So this high or this low may very well change, all right? But this is what we're kind of working with right now. And this is what I wanted to see, right? When I was telling you guys, I wanted to see price break above that trend line, right? We've done that. So to be honest with you, I like it for the sell, right? But I want to see if the dollar has kind of retraced even more, and yes, it has. All right, you guys are getting to see how this all plays out. Look at that. Now, am I psychic or what? Am I Miss Cleo? Nope, I'm not related. All right, I don't know her. All right, we all know her, but I don't know her. You understand what I'm saying? I just know how to read. That's it, right? Look at how it came and swept these lows. Damn, I think I think he helping me get something. He's helping me understand something. Something going on. That's ironic. That's crazy how it just really came right to that area and started rejecting and started playing around that area. That's crazy, right? Yeah, I know. I know. All right, here we go. So again, still expecting it to kind of fill this imbalance, right? Probably play around in demand, but boy, oh boy, once we get up out of there, oh, it's on like hot butter popcorn. All right, if I get a nice size bull candle like this right here, over here, because history repeats itself on these charts. I showed y'all that on US 30, right? Um, it repeats itself. So when we get something like this, guys, it's going to be time to sell US 30. It's going to be time to sell SPY. It's possibly time to sell NAS, right? It's going to be time to sell odd dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, New Zealand dollar. It's going to be time to look for buys on dollar CAD, dollar CHF, dollar JPY, right? And these are, I just named 7 pairs in the majors and 3 pairs in the indices. That's a total of 10 pairs. You only need one of them. Okay? You only need one of them. I'm going to repeat. You only need one of them, guys. We don't have to trade it all. Trade the best setup. Trade what looks good, right? Don't go in the club trying to holler at everything, all right? Some of them look like holly berries, all right, but they really holly scaries, okay? When the light turn on, all right, when you catch them outside, you're like, wait a minute, you ain't got no teeth? what's what's going on? All right. So be careful, all right? Swinging at everything, all right? Y'all gotta be cool, all right? And look for the best, all right? That's what this is all about. So out of all these 7 pairs in the majors, out of all 3 pairs in the indices, right? Out of your pairs in the commodities, what looks best, right? What looks like it makes sense to you? You can read it and you understand what's going on, right? That's what you want to take home with you, okay? She probably gonna have her teeth. All right, I'm just letting you know. All right, so let's get back to US 30 because it's looking very nice. Look, I should have sold it. God damn it. It did what I needed to do, and now it's dropping. All right. Again, guys, you guys will always get a lot of FOMO. All right, it's gonna test you every day, all day. Right? It's just if you're strong enough to not, be a victim of it, right? You'll be all right, right? And you can see, live, I get that, you know, pretty often. Oh, 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 you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just the way it is, right? But I catch myself super quick, right? The moment I know I'm getting excited, I know I need to calm down, right? That's an emotional integrity, right? You guys, some people just don't have it, right? Somebody disrespect you, right? And I'm a Gemini, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm already ready. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same token, right? Shout out to all the fellas who got baby girls, right? All the dads and stuff out there. Like, we gotta reprocess, how we gonna react to certain situations. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not fair to your baby girl for you to just act all, quickly, if you will, right? And not really think about the consequences and what have you. Now, don't get it wrong, right? Some situations it is what it is, but most of the time it's not that, right? If you just stayed cool and logically thought about it, you could have came out, with a better situation, right? Is what I'm saying. So guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, if this candle closes below this low, all right, of this 930 candle, I am going to sell US 30, but I really should have sold it when it was up here, because if so, I would have been in profit about 120 points already. And that's with me, just running my mouth, right? But I knew it was on the way because I told you guys about how history just repeats itself, looking left, right, with the way that price was pushing up like this, and then it gave that major drop. Price doing the same exact thing here, guys, pushing up, similar fashion, and already wicking, right, the same way it wicked over here, it's wicking over here, right, off the trend line, off the previous high, in the supply area. All this is what we call a confluence, right? It's like, wait a minute, uh, she fine, right? She got her own car. Wait. She ain't got no kids. What? She ain't in these streets. Like that. Those are all confluences, right? It make you the moment you put them together, you're like, oh man, I got to get this one, right? There's no doubt in your mind after a while because all the signs point to something good. That's what these confluences are, guys. Being in the supply area, rejecting the trend line, right? Showing bearish pressure on the lower time frame, right? Being at a high point, right? We pushed up majorly, right? Look at all of this pushing, and then all of a sudden the candles get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And then we're not pushing super high above it. What's going on with that? What's up with that? All right, something got to be up with that. And again, all that comes when you can read, right, and know what's going on. So just really back on that lower time frame and just, watching this like a hawk, or, setting your alerts, right? Either one will do. Okay. Because, we're all on right now, right? And we're looking at everything. So, you can just watch it for, the next 30 minutes or what have you to see, because this is the 15-minute time frame. So we should, in the next two candles, right? That'll be 30 minutes. We should be able to see whether or not, it broke or not, right? And it's not a lot of time to, be on the charts and stuff like that, right? But we don't want to wait here for hours, right, to try to see that happen. So if it doesn't happen in the next, 30 minutes or under an hour, just set your alerts. Make your alerts say whatever you want it to say. Hey man, go check out US 30. It broke the low. Okay, cool. So when you get that alert, right, you having a good time doing whatever you're doing, but once you get that alert, you know exactly what to go and check and look for. And before, even when you get it, you already knew what you wanted to do. So it'll be a situation where if it broke that low, you already told yourself you were going to sell it, right? So you get that alert. Well, that's your alert to push the button. So you just hit sell. Make sure your stop is, above the highs, right, or above some swing point, right, to the left, and watch it do what it do. All right. So that's that, guys. But dollar is, let me check our EA trade. All right, we're getting a little pushback. It's all good. Let me see if we're going to yeah, so we did have a little imbalance. So this is our supply. All right, and we're rejecting that area right now. So again, just looking for it to actually respect it and fall. It's just that simple. Even if we lose it, we're only risking 37 pips, right? It is what it is. But stuff like this is what gets most traders out of the trade. They see that pushing up, they're in the red, they're in negative, right? We're down now. Remember when I first checked on this, we were up. All right, you know what I'm saying? From when we actually got in, we went 39 pips, 42 pips, right? We got as low as 42 pips. But now we're down, right? And it's just like, oh, well, I think I need to get out now because I'm down now, right? It's crazy, right? This thing goes up and down. Okay. Once you get it, you got it. All right. Look, getting rejection, all this is happening. And again, it won't really be official until after 10:30. So I know we're kind of, trying to jump the gun on it, but just letting you guys know, a good selling opportunity is setting up, but we definitely want to see it break below this 46,409. All right. And I'll put that in there for you guys. US 30. All right. Wait for break below 46 40 404. All right, 404 is good. 46 404. Boom. All right, let's go take a look at NAS. Okay, and you can see that NAS kind of gives that vibe that it wants to go and fill this imbalance to the top. All right. All right, there it is, right? But you're also getting kind of the similar move that we got on US 30, right? Trend line here, okay? And that's also a rising channel. So let me just show you guys what that looks like, okay? And, ask Google or Chat GPT, whatever you want, right? What's a rising wedge? I'm sorry, what's a rising channel in Forex? And it'll give you this pattern, right, guys? So I'm telling you, this is already looking very nice for a sell because we broke this low, which was a strong low that gave us a change of character, right? Guys, we keep this simple all day, every day, okay? This was the supply area, the last candle before the impulsive move down that broke that low, all right? Yeah, we are getting some wick rejections, but I can tell in this candle, even in this one, even though it's showing wicks on the 15-minute, on the lower time frame, we're going to have a candle that actually broke that low. So now we're coming back to test the supply, guys. I'm going to take this NAS trade because it's just worth it. All right. I can get away with a very tight stop. All right. So right above the high right here, just giving a little wiggle room. That's only 34 points on NAS. Sorry, not SPY. On NAS. You can't beat that, guys. All right. You cannot beat that. All right. Boom. There it is. I'm selling. All right. All right, I'm in NAS for the sell, and I got me a very tight stop. So if I lose that, I'm okay. I'm definitely okay with that. Okay, it's just what it is. I'm just trying to do a little scalping, right? And I'll take it down to here. I'm already at a 1 to 8 risk to reward. 888 angel numbers. I like it. 309, right? Minus 5. I mean minus 4. That's 305. All right, one time for the crib. Okay, but that's what I'll be aiming for, right at that low. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, guys, I'm not afraid. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose this trade. Why did I take it? Why did I take it if I'm gonna lose the trade? Who does that? Who takes the trade because they're gonna lose it? Right? You guys saw something to where there's a potentiality of you winning the trade. You shot your shot, ladies and gentlemen, right? Women don't really do it, but some women shoot their shot. It's like, hey, he was too fine. I had to say something, girl. So I bent over. That's what I said. I said, hey, look, check. You know what I mean? Like they shoot they shot, and fellas, you gonna shoot your shot because man, she's so gorgeous and whoop the whoop the whoop. So did you shoot your shot because you were fear that they were gonna reject you? They were gonna say no, right? Guys, y'all know I give a story all the time about somebody I had a crush on, and I never said anything, and then come to find out, once I gathered up the courage, she was like, "Man, I don't know what took you so long, but I had a crush on you too, and I was hoping you said something." I was like, "Wait, what?" You know what I mean, guys? So you got to take your chances, all right? And look, playing around, right? I'm still surviving off that 34 point stop, all right? In that supply area, it's doing its dance, man. Time will tell if I'll win this or not. All right, if you guys want this, I'm throwing it in the chat right now, all right? But we are really almost there for the dollar to rise, guys. And typically, your indices will fall, right? Typically, okay? All right, that's 100. All right, this is a sell now. All right, the entry I got in at 24,823. All right, my stop loss is just a 34-point move. All right, not 34 pots. All right, there it is, and my TP is about 300 pip points. All right. All right, whoop, there it is. Okay. So if you like it, go ahead and do what you got to do. All right. We get down to the lower time frame, look at this all in detail. Okay. It is respecting, guys. I like it. All right. Now, again, this is, another thing that I'm going to teach you guys for a minute now. Those equal highs, right here. So I'll just put it over here like this, right? These two equal highs, that is liquidity. Okay. So, man, you only got your stop right above that, man. Can't they take you out? Yes, they can. Right? And then I'll just get right back in. So here's a situation where I would use a sell stop, right? This is exactly it, right? So it'll go and it'll take me out, but it just doing the sweep and potentially going to test the top of this channel, right? It'll sweep this liquidity, okay? Then it'll test the top of the channel and then it'll tank. So with that in mind, this is where a sell stop would be perfect. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what I would do. All right, I would place it right below the opening of this candle. You get what I'm saying? So boom, right here, I would place a sell stop. All right, and then guess what? I'm putting my stop loss exactly where I had it before. You know why? Because the chances of it going back up here is very slim. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they've already done it. All right, guys, I'm giving y'all the game. All right, hit that like and subscribe button for me. All right, looks like we are pushing to get that liquidity. I might lose this trade, right? But I'm okay, right? Because I got my sell stop ready to go with the same stop loss. So if you sweep me, right, and then you say, okay, got you, Bain, and then and then you decide to do what I knew you were going to do, then I'm going to say, no, I got you. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, just okay. Look, very close. Notice how it wicked right above these equal highs, guys. Man, can't make it up. All right, can't make it up. Let's go and check on SPY. All right. That sell stop is 24,793. All right. This is NAS, all right, 100. Sell stop, all right, 24,793. Okay. And I'm still in it. I'm still in it. All right. And somebody's like, well, how you still in it? All right. Now I'm out. All right. Well, there's a bid and an ask on here. And, when you look at it, it's pretty tight. So it needed to really, really push up, right? If it was wider, I probably would have been out of it already. But because it was tight, right? It just took me out. So, I took my chance, right? Didn't win it, but I know what I know, right? You get what I'm saying? And just watch. Just give this a few more moments, right? Give it to 10:30, right? Let's see what things looking like at 10:30, right? And by that time, I won't even really need to look, right? If it tanks, it's going to activate me, keep going, and I'm just going to be in profit, right? And I'm still going to be risking, probably less than 100 points on NAS, which is, again, unheard of, all right? So that's that. But let's look, just look. Somebody come look at this. Somebody come look at this. All right, I'm going to push my sell stop up a little more. All right, so again, it's almost like I'm getting in almost at the same position that I lost the trade the first time. All right. L's don't always mean L's, guys. All right. Just really doesn't. I know everybody, especially the rookies, have a story. I was in a trade. It went against me. I lost it. It took me out. And then it went thousands of pips in the direction I was in the trade for. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that goes to show you that you were right about the direction. Your timing was off. Maybe you over leverage, right? Maybe you had fear, right? It's a bunch of things. But we figure out what it is and we adjust, right? That's all it is, right? It's just adjusting, guys. All right. So that's that with this. Let's go take a look at the dollar. Boom, bam. Okay, guys. Didn't I say I was waiting for it to fill this gap and then give me a bullish candle like this? I can't make it up, guys. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. All right, here we go. Odd dollar. Let's see. All right. That sell limit. It may push and get it, but we may need to sell it quickly. Euro dollar. Doesn't really look quite the best, but I can see a potential drop because we did have a little bit of a fair value gap right here. So this is kind of supply, all right, that is respecting. So we can probably take that sell right now, right, and get jiggy with it. Pound dollar. Oh man. Let me see. It's kind of giving, there's wicks below the candle, right? And it kind of gives the vibes that it may want to push up and sweep this liquidity to go and tap into that supply before it drops. New Zealand dollar. All right, that might be the play because there's a bearish engulfing candle here, and this candle here is still kind of respecting, right, that move. You can see how we've already gotten a push down and now a little bit of a push up. So possibly tap into this level of supply where the fair value gap sits, right, and then drop. All right, so looking at this potential setup for a sell, all right, on New Zealand dollar coming down, and that's 34 pips, so not a whole lot on that. All right, guys, so not too much looking appetizing. The odd dollar is looking like still the best setup for about 77 points. All right, yeah, EU and GU are definitely shaky, right? So, what else could we look into, right? Let's take a look at our commodities, right? Gold didn't want to fold, but maybe it'll do it now, right? Maybe she'll give it up, okay? And here, yeah, we're getting there, all right? So this was liquidity once again, all right? Swept that, all right? But I would like to see, yeah, I would like to see a nice tap into this area. All right, but we may have to, well, no, we're gonna leave it. All right, that sell limit that I gave on gold, guys, we're gonna leave it. All right, because that's right where our supply is, and we gave ourselves a little wiggle room above that high, which is really technically all you need, right? When price does what you need it to do. All right, so gold is still looking pretty good. What about silver? Man, uh, it's kind of giving double top vibes, but yeah, I don't know. It's uh, it's looking a little suspect. Um, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so we had supply, and we kind of got there, but no cigar. All right, got real close. That might be enough though, but yeah, yeah, it's rough. All right, so that whole push down, we did start breaking lows, and we even got below this low. So with that, this was all the retracement back up to that supply. So I do get the feeling that we are going to drop on silver. The only issue is when, okay? Um, will it be right now? Just kaboom, because the dollar is getting ready to take off, all right? Or will it be um, after it kind of gives us another little push above to sweep this, right, and actually tap into supply and then drop, right? So those are two scenarios. Which how do we want to play it? How you gonna play it, Bain? Well, just like this, right at supply, right, and take it on down, right, to these lows, right? That's a nice swing low right there. Again, we can possibly get all the way down here, but silver's bullish, right? We broke this high, made this new high. Here was a pullback to a key point, right? The fair value gap. Now it started to rise. So really, it's on this run phase, which means it could just still keep going and rising, right? So us looking for that sell again is a little counterproductive because silver's bullish, right? We're just trying to line up the fact that the dollar's going to rise, and typically when the dollar rises, silver and gold typically fall. So just know, guys, these commodity trades are, a bit risky in terms of selling them with all the turmoil going on, even though the dollar looks like it's going to rise, right? But I'd rather sell it from the high than to sell it from right here, right? Trying to catch that move, all right? And it's just what it is. So I'm placing my sell limit right there. And again, I'll make my stop tight because silver does not play. It pays more than gold, just FYI. All right. Silver can really run your account up if if you get into it. All right. So here is the play on silver. Take it if you like. Euro CHF, I got you. XAG, make sure you put XAG, not XAU. All right. So XAG, silver. All right, this is a sell limit, another pending order. All right, our entry is this. All right, our stop loss is this. And our take profit is this. Now let's change the character on the 4-hour, small pullback, then a push up. We'll see. All right, so we got our sell limits on both commodities, right? Gold, and you can see it's already trying to get that, and we got it on silver. So first, let me check out Euro CHF. We are going to um mm, 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 mm. Okay, the way that price is coming down on this daily time frame is giving off wedgie vibes. Okay, and I saw a similar setup like this on pound odd. All right, so there is your falling wedge. Okay, and what happened with pound odd was that it swept the low and then it took off like this. So let me see if I can show you that real quick. Pound odd. Yep, there it is. Right. So you see, once again, it's this wedge right here. So I had deleted it, but it was like this. It was like this at one point, and then it was like that. Okay. So what you can see is we were here, right? And it swept the support area and then kaboom, blasted off on a Friday. Insane, right? So again, watch when I switch over now back to Euro CHF, and it's looking like deja vu all over again. So I do like this for a potential buying opportunity. What I would do is I would place a buy limit at I would place a buy limit right below this wick, right? So it'll be a long position right about here, right? Getting below that wick, and then I'll take it right up to the swing. That's 94 pips, all right? With just the 18 pip stop loss, you can't beat that, right? 1 to 5. That's mean you risk 1,000, you make 5,000. Easy money, okay? Risk a dollar, make $5, right? You know what I mean? Risk 10, make 50. You guys get the idea, all right? But I like this setup for a buy limit. This is actually a really good setup. So thank you for putting us on to this one, UD. All right, Miami Heat legend. All right. Um, so yeah, here it is, guys. And for you, especially UD, this is how I would play Euro CHF. All right. Make sure you put a buy limit, not a sell limit. You got it, bro. Um, Entry. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I've got the entry right, and boom. All right, stop loss is that. And again, just 18 pips, and we're looking to make about 100 pips on the TP. Again, you could get more out of that, right? So something that we do in my group is called the Bain train. What that means is after your trade gets activated and price starts going in your favor, starts climbing up, right? When it gets super close to your stop or to your TP, we basically move your stop loss, all right? So you'll have your stop loss right here, right? We basically will move that stop loss into profit, right? And then we'll take off the take profit. So if it decides to go higher than that, we're going to get whatever that high is. All right. And this definitely looks like it can go higher, right? This is a swing point right here. All right. To the left, looking at that, that is a swing point that price can absolutely make its way to and take out that high. So we're aiming for 100, but we can end up with, let's take a look, 150. Okay. So again, it's called the Bain train, right? And that's how we play that. So just keep in mind, the best way to go about catching the Bain train is by setting an alert right below your TP, like a few pips or so below your TP, and say, hey, take off my TP, catch the Bain train, right? So again, lock in profits, right? Take off your TP and just let it ride, right? Let it go for however long, right? The moment it actually goes against you, you still made almost 100 pips, right? So that's that. But very nice setup on Euro CHF for the rise. Um, so definitely take advantage of um, that play, guys. All right. Um, what else did you want to look at? Somebody said, da, da, da. Oh, Nats. So, all right, you said on the 1 hour, oh, on the 4 hour. All right, so I gotta erase all my stuff, but um, get this to me again. So Nas, change of character on the 4 hour, small pullback, then a push up. Um, so yeah, we did just break above this high. So I know that's the change that you're referring to right here. All right. Um, and yeah, we may have a small pullback and then push up, but um, yeah, you'll have to wait for that retracement. Man, look at that. Dirty, dirty, dirty game. All right. But we kind of knew, to a degree that was on the table because of that imbalance, right? Just to go get that. So, I was looking to sell from here. Again, I kind of talked about this last night, right? It's in the middle, right? It is technically in the supply area from this previous high, but it's really in the middle of, the two zones that I really care about. So, you know, you see, I lost it, right? And that's what I tend to notice, right? Again, I'm always going to take my chances. Forget, taking the L. That's never going to bother me, right? You know what I mean? Like it destroys some people, all right, or probably most people. But um, yeah, this is where I would ideally like to sell from, right? And this is where I would ideally like to buy from. So, I'll just check it up and keep on moving, right? So clean this up, right? That's all gone. The wedge is still there. I mean, the channel's still there. And yeah, time will tell, right? Because again, this could be a nice little pump, right? Another pump fake with D Wade right here, right? Get you thinking you're about to take that shot, but he's not. He's gonna just get you in the air and then take it to the hole, right? But yeah, this could easily turn into a wick, and then we break out of this, getting below that low point of where I want to sell, and I could end up, just getting back right back into it, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, to your point, it may retrace a little bit and then go get that, and then that's where is the better area to sell from. But yeah, guys, dollar is starting to just consolidate a bit, all right? And it has to, right? Let me see, Bitcoin. Oh, 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 oh. All right, guys, Bitcoin. I already called this play for the team, but guys, Bitcoin. All right, take that. No Diddy. Okay. All right, it is ready. It went into our fair value gap after it broke, got a change here, pushed up, right? Like it was going to go to supply, but it didn't, right? Came back down, mitigated everything that we needed to the demand, the fair value gap. We're getting wicks, which is rejection of the bears, and we're in profit, right? So this got activated here for my team when it came back. It consolidated for a bit, and now you can see it's getting ready to go ahead and take back off. All right, so very nice play on Bitcoin. If you guys want it, let me know, but just buy it now where price is, aim for that supply, and you're catching over 10,000 points on Bitcoin. All right, y'all know Bitcoin pays. All right, Ethereum, we're waiting for it to get back to this demand area. It hasn't done it yet. It may not, because it did get like half of this fair value gap and then hit us with a bullish candle. So it may just take off from here, getting up into this area, right? Missing out on that opportunity to get it at the very low. But hey, you never know. It may still hit one of these numbers and then do what we expect it to do. All right. But just know that Bitcoin is ready, right? And Ethereum not quite yet, right? So still, look to buy it low. Um, but know that it may not get there, right? It might just take off and start going. All right. Let me see what else can we make sure. SPY. All right, so it looks like they're all going to head to that supply, guys. We're going to have a great drop, right? Because the dollar's setting up for that rise. I know it's looking all tricky right now, but it's setting up for that rise. And these indices are setting up for the fall. They're pushing up, right? Again, I told you guys when we had this major drop on Friday that we were going to mitigate or correct ourselves, right? Coming into the next week. We did it. We jumped up quickly, Monday. We came down Tuesday, right? And we're pushing up right now on Wednesday. So guess what? Tomorrow and Friday will be just like last Friday on the indices. We will get this massive drop, guys. and it's going to be beautiful. All right, it may take out these highs before it drop, right, or it may respect the supply and drop. But guys, it's setting up. Right, it's just setting up. They get into the promised land, and I'm gonna be ready. All right, I'm gonna be ready, right, to take full advantage of the drops on these indices. So I suggest you guys, line yourself up as well. All right. But we got above the supply, so we just clean things up. Got above that trend line. That's all good and lovely. Probably going to take out this liquidity all in this area right here, right? And then from there, timber. Okay. Looking, getting that drop. Um, but NAS and SPY, look way better in terms of structure, right? Way cleaner, right? So that's SPY, and here's NAS, so we can get rid of the channel. Well, it actually just got to the top of the channel. Okay, no, it broke out, but regardless, get in here and then the drop, guys. So you can try to purchase it, right, and scalp it up on the way up, right? Because we know it's heading towards that, but the big play, the big dog play is from that supply area. All right, let me check out oil. All right, oil is playing around. It doesn't want to get that buy limit just yet, but it's going. It's starting to do that right now. So watch out for oil, right? Good 400 point move or 400 pip move, right? Just a $4 move on oil. Every dollar move is 100 pips, right? So watch out for it to come on down, sweep everything, tap into demand, then take off. JPY, right? Still playing around. Now looks again like it wants to go up. So some of our J's, they're already looking red, right? They may drop, right? They may not get to these suppliers. Um, they may drop, but they don't look too ideal. EJ looks pretty good, all right, for the sell. So if anybody's interested, right, try to see if you can get away with this, right? Just crazy, right? 50 pips right up my alley for 342 on EJ. GJ, again, still kind of waiting for it to get to this area before the drop. Hopefully it doesn't drop right away. Hopefully it does, rise before the drop. But EJ looks the best. And yeah, I wouldn't sell. I wouldn't sell right here, even though I know it could get down here. So not really quite ready on everything. All right, but we got our setup on gold, which looks like it's about to get activated, right, very soon. So hopefully you guys got that sell limit on that, and we got our sell limit on silver. Notice how it is rising, right? Thank God we didn't sell it, okay, because we were already at the low, but now we're going to try to grab it from the high, and we may very well be in business if the dollar could stop taking its time at this level and just go ahead and take off, right? See, from here, we should have started rising more. So this is a little alarming, if you will, but until it breaks below this demand area, I'm really not that alarmed. All right. What was the stop loss on Bitcoin? Yep, because that is a very nice play. It is 109,028. But you can get away with probably a tighter stop loss above this wick at 110. All right, this is 110,768. So the original stop loss is 028. All right, 109,028 is the original stop loss, but you can get away with a tighter stop loss now at 110,768. All right, so it did 110,768. But very, very good play, guys, on Bitcoin. Okay, very good play. 280K, that's what you're gonna make. Listen. All right, I think that's a standard lot. All right, yeah, just doing the math. So technically, guys, when you purchase Bitcoin, with your broker, most brokers will give you $1 per point, right? And that's off of a micro lot. All right, so you put in a 0.01, which is a micro lot, and that's in decimal format. It's 1,000 in units format, right? That will give you on this Bitcoin play, right? 10 bands. Okay, that's just it, and that's off a micro. So just keep adding in the zero if you up the lot size, right? So a micro will give you 10 bands. Okay. The mini will give you 100 bands. Okay. And you guessed it, the standard will, send you home. All right. It'll tell you, have you out there butt naked, telling everybody, kiss, yo, you know what. All right. But 280K, what were you referring to for 280K? I'm assuming you were just talking about the potential profit on Bitcoin, which clearly you can get that on the mini lot. But what were you referring to, Sinded, specifically? Could it be that I'm lost and soft and just falling in love? Am I falling in love? Oh no. Your stop loss on Bitcoin. Oh, so again, my original stop, and I'm gonna move it, but my original stop was 109,028. 109,028. You will lose 280K if it hits. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. So let's take that away, all right, and make it 100, right? That's better. Okay? Losing 100 is better. But um yeah, you know what I mean? It's not for the weak, all right, trading Bitcoin. Okay? It's a little crazier than US 30, if you ask me. Yeah, yeah, that's what we're here for, right? It's just what it is. All right. But guys, that is my time. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Let me know, and I'll try to squeeze you in the next 2 minutes here. But if there's nothing, guys, we got great play on Bitcoin. All right. We're looking for those indices to drippy drop from the top. All right. Those J's are still a little mixy, right? So we gotta give that more time. If we want to sell, we need it to be higher. It's just that simple. The majors are also waiting for the dollar to make that push up. All right. So um, until we start getting it, then we'll have our falls on these pairs. But they're all just in the mix right now, right? So you can't really tell just yet, but guys, I got a good feeling tomorrow is going to be the day, right? Thursday and Friday, we are gonna, we're gonna get what we need. All right, let's check our Euro odd play from last night. Look at that, guys. Nice rejection. We weren't worried, right? We didn't close out the trade. We hung in there, and now we're back in profit. You see how that works? We're in profit, then we're in more profit, and then we're out of profit. That's where everybody closes out, and then guess what? It goes right back in your direction, and you're in profit again. Crazy, right? But we good. All right, so hold on to that Euro odd play, and you know, 230 some odd pips is coming to you. All right, guys, that'll do it. All right. Meantime, in between time, y'all have a great morning. Thank you for rocking with me, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. All right, I'm out. Peace.